A twisted cacophony of book publishers, a nearly extinct dinosaur, and the most jigsawliest jigsaw puzzle I've ever done. All that and some fun new excitements today on Janky Puzzles. Welcome back to Janky Puzzles, a show where we take a look at discount, thrift store, garage sale, vintage jigsaw puzzles. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for checking us out. I hope you enjoy what you see. Today we're doing something, kind of shaking things up a little bit. Like I said, I like to do a lot of deep dives into the different puzzles and things that we explore on this channel. And in the past, that has led me to some pretty fun little rabbit holes. And today is no different. I was doing a deep dive into the company that made today's puzzle, and I want to know a little bit of their history. I might as well have been reading Lord of the Rings or a Game of Thrones. That was the most sprawling, incomprehensible timeline of this company I have ever seen. It was amazingly fun to put together. And I've sort of taken the history and I've kind of made into something that's kind of digestible. And I hope you enjoy it. So the company we're talking about today is Random House. That might be a name that's familiar to you. They are a publishing company. They have been around for almost 100 years. They've published a lot of books over the years. They've published children's books, adult literature books. They were one of the premier book distributors that did a lot of the classics, the Odyssey, Faulkner, Hemingway, a lot of different genres and different authors from around the turn of the century. They were one of the preliminary ones. In fact, they're in the publishing world, there is something called the Big Six, and Random House was one of them. Now they're the big five, and we'll get to that. So, Random House. Now, here's a little bit of history of Random House in a nice bite-size timeline here. Ready? You're gonna love this. Does that make sense? Pretty cool, huh? Put a lot of work into this because I wanted to make it really easy to comprehend. And yeah, I think I did a pretty good job. So we're gonna run through this real quick. I'm not gonna belabor this for too much, but I did some work so you're gonna enjoy it. Now, I don't have a pointer, but I got a yardstick here. So bear with me. This is not gonna be very long, but this is really cool. So we're gonna go back all the way to 1917 with a company called Bonnie and Liverite. Around the same year Bonnie and Liverite was founded, another company called Modern Library was founded, and they kind of merged together right away. In 1927, 10 years later, a publishing company called Random House came onto the scene, the subject of today's deep dive. Now, Random House, the reason where they got that name was is they wanted to publish just random things. So the name stuck. Well, it's called Random House. So Random House was started by Modern Library, but very shortly thereafter, Random House overtook Modern Library, and Modern Library became a subsidiary of Random House. But now cut down to 1936, and it goes public. In 1936, Random House bought a corporated company called Smith & Haas. In 1959, Alfred Kopp. A year later, in 1960, Pantheon Books, and a company called Beginner Books. They started really just building a library, so to speak, around this time. Now, also in 1965, they were bought by RCA. Yes, that RCA. And they were the owners of Random House and all these other subsidies for a long time. Now, a lot of the different companies that Random House had at the time, they put a lot of them into a Ballantine books in 1973, right here, which they also acquired a company called Crown Publishing. Now, around this time, RCA sold Random House, who was eating up all these other these other smaller companies. RCA sold Random House to Advanced Publishing. All right, so you stay with me so far, if that's okay. We're going to wrap up soon, believe it or not. So that was around 1988. Now, in 1988, when they acquired Crown Publishing, they sold off a part of their company called Random House Schools and College Division. So they did a lot of textbooks and college textbooks and things like that to a company called McGraw-Hill. Now, if you're familiar with Mystery Science Theater, they cover a lot of McGraw-Hill movies, short films. So that's a word that might be familiar to you. So, 88, McGraw-Hill buys a part of their schools and college division, and in 1998, the whole shebang is sold yet to another company, which is actually owned by them to this day, called Bertelsmann AG. And then in 98, they acquire the listening library. Now, around this time, around 1999, things get kind of convoluted with all these different tentacles, so to speak, in the Random House conglomerate. So they kind of cut everything up into 3 different pieces, kind of make things that kind of tie up all the loose ends. To the Random House Publishing Group, a company called Bendberry. I have really bad handwriting, I'll be honest with you. And then Crown. And then all of that, when that just got to be too unreally in 2013, this was actually a really big thing. It was actually in the news. It really upended the publishing world, and this is where they became from the big 6 to the big 5, because Random House merged with Penguin Publishing, another well-known company, and became Penguin Random House. And then, of course, in 2019, they picked up Bug's Little Tiger. And then actually just last month, as we're filming this, July 2024, they picked up a company called Boom! So that is, in a nutshell, Random House. So today, here's where we're going to pick up in the story. We are going to pick up about right here, when it was shortly thereafter they picked up Crown Publishing, and Random House sold off a part of their company, Random House Schools and College Division, to McGraw-Hill. This is where we're going to pick up. And the reason for that is there's not a lot of information about this puzzle, but it's, I believe that it was part of their school and learning division. So, without further ado, would you like to see it? Right on. So, I present to you the Random House, a Happy House Group 550-piece puzzle of some beautiful macaws. I think this is absolutely beautiful. I picked this one up at a local library here in town and paid $3 for it. $3 well spent. This guy is just absolutely beautiful. You've got a Jim Halpert looking bird just looking right at the camera. You've got a couple other guys over here, and what a beautiful puzzle. So with the power of magic video editing, I'm gonna get reset here and show off this puzzle. We're gonna do things a little bit different today and hope you dig it. So without further ado, and we are back. I've got something fun to show you. So if you're new to the channel, again, like I will always do, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. I did something different today, and I am so excited to show you. We traditionally do a time lapse about right here, and then we take a look at the puzzle. Well, I've been busy, and I came up with something that I think really helps illustrate my love for these puzzles, and I hope it really helps get a sense of these old vintage puzzles. So we know what we're building. Oh, I left it over there. We know what we're building. We're building some beautiful macaws. Let's take a look at something. Ready? You're gonna love this. Oh, Joey's been busy. For you to really get a sense of the beauty of these puzzles, I thought, why not stand it upright? We often see if we can pick puzzles up off the table. This one, no. In fact, when I was putting it on this just a few minutes ago, when we put it on this board, it partially crumpled. We had to do some rebuilding. So it is absolutely gorgeous. Very, very beautiful. It's 550 pieces. And these macaws are, like I said, absolutely beautiful. This one right here, giving the Jim Halpert office look, he's a lot of fun. And these guys are awesome. This one over here that's not looking at the camera, that just makes me laugh every time. Macaws, I think, are beautiful birds. They obviously are known for their size, their intelligence. They've got really long tails that aren't in this picture, and they are hecka endangered. In my research, they're not even sure if these blue ones that kind of look like this are even alive in the wild anymore, due to deforestation, people coming into the Amazon, because these bad boys are native to around Central America. I mean, there's some other tropical places in the world you can find them as well. But with the deforestation, their homes are just getting dwindled. These are some beautiful dinosaurs, and they are nearly extinct, other than the ones that are in zoos and private collections. Their feathers have been used for ceremonial headdresses and clothing for dating back already to the 1500s. They have been used for a very long time. The problem is that these birds' feathers are very fragile. They're not known to withstand a long time. So a lot of the feathers that are historical pieces that are like in museums, they're crumbling. They're not holding up very well. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful birds. And from a personal note, I'm just kind of cool that this puzzle was able to stand upright, so we can really show off its beauty. I quite often on this channel, for some reason, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but for some reason, Australia comes up a lot. Not the worst thing in the world, you know? But a fun fact that not a lot of people know is that one of my heroes, one of my personal heroes, is the crocodile hunter Steve Irwin. I actually have a hard time even talking about him for too long, because it makes me, it gives me a lot of emotions. His energy, his enthusiasm, his dedication to animals. For one, that's something that's very important here at the Janky Puzzles house. And he really is somebody that had a positive influence in my life. And see, I told you. But the old crocodile Steve Irwin, crocodile hunter, would dive headfirst into a murky swamp full of alligators or crocodiles and have no problems. These guys made him nervous. He was not a fan of birds. It wasn't something that he had as emotional attachment to as he did his crocodiles. I don't know, I always thought that was funny to think about. He was a fearless man, but birds kind of gave him pause, and that's fine. We all have those weird fears. I'm actually personally deathly afraid of frogs, but we'll get into that another day. So these are beautiful macaws from Random House. I believe this puzzle was from the learning division of their company, and what a beautiful. And this one's cool. It's square. Not a lot of the puzzles that I've worked on recently have been square, so that's been kind of cool. All right. So some really big announcements from Janky Puzzles. For one, this is a little bit different setup. Usually I'm sitting at the puzzle table, but I thought, let's do something a little bit different, you know? So some really cool things coming. I started an account on Buy Me a Coffee, which is very similar to Patreon. It's buymeacoffee.com/Janky Puzzles. You'll see this mug. You'll see our logo in the background. And that's I found it to be a really fun and easy to use website. Patreon kind of made me nervous. So for now, we're on Buy Me a Coffee. If you like what we do here and you want to see us continue to do it, buy me a coffee. You know, I always love cozy cups. They're my favorite, and I would love to share one with you. There's some really cool levels on there, and memberships on Buy Me a Coffee are forthcoming. We'll have a 300-piece membership level, a 500-piece membership level, and a 1,000-piece membership level. Most of all the goodies that come with each one will probably be the same, because I don't feel like jigsaw puzzles should be, I don't want to exclude anybody. You're here because you like puzzles or you can tolerate me, so why would I want to push people away? But there's going to be some fun stuff on there, some behind the scenes footage. You'll get to see what's coming. I'm not a big fan of like puzzle hauls. There's some really cool videos here on YouTube of people bringing home stacks of puzzles. I don't know, don't get me wrong, I've come home with some puzzles. I go to a lot of yard sales and I love going to thrift stores. So I've come home with some puzzles, but so if that's something you like, let us know in the comments. And lastly, a new show is coming, and it's going to be a little bit more different. It's not going to be a long video essay like these. So my good friend Liam, who edits these for me, can take the night off. But there's going to be a new live show happening to bridge the gap between finishing these video essays. It's going to be called Janky Puzzles Unsorted. A live show. It'll probably go for an hour, hour and a half. I'm going to put together a 100 or 200 piece puzzle, talk about the day, a little bit more of a fireside chatty feel. And I think we're in the dog days of summer now, and it's going to start here hopefully in the next few weeks, next month or so. It'll start to get a little bit cooler, cool down a little bit. I thought that's going to be a fun thing to do through the summer. Some fireside chats, Janky Puzzles Unsorted. I thought that made sense. When you start a new puzzle, the smartest thing is to sort them. So this Random House puzzle is, like I said, the most jigsawliest puzzle I've ever done. Something like this with lots of bright colors and textures. If you want to really hone your puzzle craft, or if you're really into them, even if you have a passing love of puzzles, something like this is what you want to look for. Big, bright colors. You could sort these very, very easy. I was able to go through and I pulled out all the red pieces, set them aside, the yellows, set them aside. I did the border, and then I was able to just basically do one little bird at a time, except for the blues on this guy and the light blues on that guy. You had some tree bark texture, and then these fun leaves. It's really good practice on different angles. So this is the kind of puzzle you want to look for if you want to stretch those muscles for doing puzzles. But honestly, do the puzzles you like. Obviously, that's doing puzzles is a lot of fun. Not for everyone, but they're a lot of fun. So that's what you want to look for. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Hope you like kind of the new setup. Here shortly, we will be moving into the new filming space. So we're all excited about that. And if you want to get your name and the credits at the end of these episodes, anybody that sends us buymeacoffee.com, whether you're a member or not, even if it's like a one-time deal, again, we're super grateful. You can get your name in the credits. You know what? As long as time is permitting, I will read them off happily. So put your name in lights. Buy me a cozy cup. Remember, do good things, be good people. Check out all our videos, and hey, let's build a puzzle together.